They don't have borders in Europe. But when it comes to us, they say, no, you must have borders. Why? The division of of Africa is what makes them thrive. They thrive on the division of the African continent. Can you imagine the minerals of DRC combined with the minerals of South Africa and with a new currency based on the minerals? What we can do to the dollar if we become a United States of Africa with our minerals alone? We can collapse the dollar. We can collapse the strong pound that is based on gold, yet they don't have a gold mine. So why do you allow such things? There were no borders, and we must all of us unite in that call. Yeah. Free movements of persons, free movements of goods will make this country flourish.
Globally, the travel and tourism industry has recovered strongly, but the high cost of air travel to Africa and within Africa remains a barrier. Implementation of the single African air transport market is therefore an important priority. We also removed visa restrictions for citizens of every African country, as well as many other countries. Let there be no mistake about it. An African can get on a plane to Rwanda whenever they wish, and will not pay a thing to enter our country.
For an African to visit a European nation, an ordinary African, to visit a European nation is like, let me give you an example my teacher used to use. It's like trying to milk an elephant because of the visa process. However, for a European to visit an African nation, most of our nations, it is like a walk on the beach. It's like going to have a cup of tea. But then that is not the problem. The tragedy is that now for an African to visit a fellow African within the African Union, the visa restrictions in many of our nations, among us, between our brothers and sisters, is like trying to brush the teeth of a crocodile. They came, divided us, and they have taught us to keep each other from each other. Them, they're mingling with each other and making money and growing, but they have taught us to hate each other. But for us to really enjoy the true economic benefits of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we need to behave like the Europeans and allow for the free movement of people and trade. To this end, in our contribution to this continental aspiration, Kenya is committed to progressively, and we are moving very fast by the end of this year, to abolish visas to citizens from African Union member states to make it easier to invest and do business in Kenya and across the continent. We are going to open the borders of Kenya. We do not fear our fellow Africans. Come, travel to Kenya. Live, do business in Kenya. Trade, make money in Kenya. And we hope we'll get reciprocity with the rest of you. Let us open our continent so that we can make money and live together. Let us remove the shackles of colonialism that are still embedded in our heads and be able to move forward.
The EFF's effort to usher in socialism in South Africa is an exercise of futility if it is not done in the context of Pan-Africanism. If you free South Africa and do not free Swaziland and do not free Mozambique economically, you are forcing the people of Mozambique to come to South Africa. You are forcing the people of Swaziland to come to South Africa because generally we operate, human beings in general are animals, but animals of a special kind. Sure. So because of our ability to reason, our ability to be logical. Now, if the economy of South Africa is fine, it's up to standard, our people are living nicely, you are attracting those who are coming from other countries to come to South Africa. And there is no amount of artificial borders that will stop them from doing that. They will flood the gates of South Africa just like they're doing now. Because we just have borders, but we don't have fence, right? So when you want to deal with the question of economic emancipation, you must deal with it in a pan-African perspective. So that you are able to make sure that this economic freedom is achieved throughout Africa concurrently. So that the person who's in Zimbabwe does not see any reason to come here. They will only come here and do business and go back. The person who's in Swaziland will come here and do business and go back. But clever blacks do not see it like that. They say, no, China, we're an island, we're in mini Europe, we must live on our own here in exclusion of our African brothers. Borders that have been imposed on us by colonizers, we don't know those borders. Those borders, we never had an idea of borders ourselves as black people. We have always been one family. So, clever blacks came to us, yeah, you are building a black person a house. Where we said, we are building her a house because number one, she's black and she's African. Number two is because she is deserving of the assistance of the EFM. Number three is because when we see her, we see ourselves. We don't view her as a Mozambican, neither do we view her as a Zimbabwean. We see her as an African mother. When I look at that old woman, I see my grandmother. Something that I would have done for my grandmother, I start doing it for that woman. So that at least we demonstrate that we are that people. So